How do you get your tortillas to puff? Why do restaurants get it right? Why do you sometimes get it wrong at home? These are the questions that I get a lot. Breakfast taco. I'm gonna start off by saying corn tortillas, not the move for a breakfast taco. I know it's very controversial. This is all I'm using for my flour tortillas. Flour, a type of fat, which could be butter, clarified. I'm using avocado oil today because it's a good neutral oil. And of course, my gold flaky salt. I like using a flat rolling pin. I don't like the ones that are like fucking rounded. They're just a pain in the ass to use. And I like the ones that don't have the handles because they're just easier to handle as well. And a scale. Now, reason numero uno, busting out my roots language today, Espanol. A scale is important because we're gonna be able to get the same amount every time when we're baking or when we're working with doughs, like flour tortillas, for example. And to get a nice dough means to get a good puff. If you're not gonna get a nice dough, you're not gonna get that nice puff. That's my recipe, if you wanna see it. I like to use warm water because it sort of speeds up the process of this dough, because we need to rest the dough. And that is the point I was gonna get to with making the tortillas softer. If you don't rest the dough, the tortillas aren't gonna be as soft. That dough is gonna be very elastic, as it's gonna like sort of, what's another word for expand, but not expand, like despand? It's gonna like go back into itself. I don't know how to fucking say it. What's the word for that? Shrink. They're gonna shrink. So you're gonna roll them out and they're gonna just like shrink back into themselves, and we don't want that. So we gotta let it rest. We gotta let it relax for a good 30 minutes. I hope that made sense. It'll make sense as you see me do the thing. So basically I just need to beat the fuck out of this dough for a good, I don't know, let's call it 4 or 5 minutes. Anyways, while that's going, I just wanted to say I'm making breakfast tacos because I'm making my most viral video, or remaking my most viral video on YouTube. It's like 41 million views, and it's a kimchi spam breakfast taco. So I just wanted to make a breakfast taco for you guys. This is also video 50 on my whole long form streak I've been on. I've been doing 5 videos a week, and I'm at video 50 now. So just wanted to put that out there. I'm gonna keep that going. Maybe I'll go every day, but I'd like to start a series where I'm trying to learn something new every single day and sort of like keep honing my skills as a cook and all that stuff. Now, one thing you gotta keep in mind is this dough can dry out. So we wanna keep it covered, and we wanna work quickly with it as well, because it could start to build like a film on the outer layer, and that's gonna make for not a very nice product. Once again, scale. And that's just so I can get equal portions. That's all it is. I'm not really aiming for a specific number. Okay, today it's gonna be 36. 36 is my number today. And that's just so they're all, you know, very uniform and the same size. Now, I know you just heard me say let it rest, but what I need to do is form my little balls and then let it rest, because when you form the little balls, you want to let it rest again before you roll it out. And the reason is, it's like I said, it's gonna shrink back into itself, and you're not gonna be able to form a good tortilla. So just a little ball like this. This is probably the most important part of the tortilla making. Covering it and just letting it rest 30 minutes, I'd say, 30 minutes. Now just going in my pantry to show you a couple of things. So 1, beans, very important for breakfast tacos. Where I come from, on the border of South Texas, refried beans is like in every single breakfast taco. And yes, it's a breakfast taco, not a breakfast burrito. But this can right here, I basically grew up on this can, the black can ranch style beans. I would say, you know, it's not crazy important to do like a fresh cooked pinto bean. I'd say the can is fine, blend that up and you're good. That's how my ma did it. But now, here's what made the video go hella crazy, I'd say, is the Spam. Spam is not typical where I come from with the taco, and it's really fucking delicious. But I got this Portuguese Spam shaped sausage from Redondo's, which is fucking delicious too. So I'm gonna use that. Yes, this is rice drying out in the fridge. More on that in another video on how to get the best fried rice. Should probably take the camera out of the fucking fridge. All right, you guys come over here. It's a very simple motion. Let me go over it real quick. First, I'm putting these into a towel and then covering it so they don't get really dry as I'm working. But also, I've made thousands of tortillas, especially corn tortillas. Like at work, we'd be using that the iron press, the steel press, and just pressing tons of them really quickly, and then onto the comal, and just tons of tortillas. This one's different though. I never pressed a flour tortilla. I remember some random people telling me they pressed a flour tortilla. I don't know if that's a thing. First, it's obviously well dusted with flour, but you press that little circle down into a puck situation like this. More flour on top, very generous. So just roll it, and then we've got this like oval shape going on. I take that little oval and I turn it 90 degrees and I roll it again. And then I do the same thing. Take that, turn it 90 degrees, roll it. And I'm just repeating that process over and over again. And that's something that you build up with your muscle memory, just turning and rolling. And that's how you can get a nice round flour tortilla. Now, this is how I do it. This is a way that I was taught, and it's a way that I stick with. Okay, I'm gonna sound like a jerk right now because this is not like super perfectly round, but you get the point. It's like a consistent circle. It looks like a circle. And that's what we're going for here. And that's just the motion that I think works the best. Now, the next main big thing is the pan. A nonstick would actually work just fine, especially for you guys that don't have cast iron skillets. I would say nonstick. Now, I do love a carbon steel pan, but for this, I don't think this is the right tool because carbon steel is so thin and it's not really gonna hold the heat, and you're gonna have some trouble with your heat, honestly, getting it consistent. Now, cast iron, like this guy, stove in particular is my favorite because it's enameled. But the stove pans, it's really hot right now, but the stove pans are perfect for this because they're enameled, so don't really stick to things. And cast iron holds heat, which is why you want to use cast iron for your flour tortillas. It holds a good heat, and it's going to be a consistent heat, and that's what we need to get the steam buildup to puff. Yes, that's how we puff it. That's how we puff the tortillas. It's the steam buildup with a consistent heat. I'd say about 400 to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, now what thickness do I want to go for? I would say nothing thinner or nothing thicker than like 2 credit cards. I want it to also be like sort of translucent where I could see like my hand imprint in that. That's my ideal thickness. If you can't do it that thin, it's okay. You could just aim for like that 2 credit card to 1 credit card range. Just saying, if it's not thin enough, if it's gonna be like too thick, then you're gonna be left with like a fucking hard puck pancake piece of shit. It's not gonna be good. My pan remains at like a consistent 400 degrees, and I spray it pretty much every time. I have a little wipey wipe so I can wipe that flour off so it doesn't start burning. And so you want to hear the sizzle. If you hear the sizzle, that means you're good. You're working with some good heat. And let this go for about 30 seconds and you'll start to see the bubbles come up. And when those bubbles stop, that's when we'll give it a flip. Just don't even touch it, just let it be. See, I've gotten some good bubblage, new word, and they've stopped. So now I can just flip it with my hands, of course. See the big bubble up there? That's because we've got a good dough. Once that bubble stops inflating from all the steam, that's when we just give it a little flippy flip. And there we go, tortilla. That really is a good bubble though. That is one solid bubble, if I say so myself. My gosh. Stunning. To keep them warm, I just put them into my little cast iron Dutch oven. Paper towel, close it up. Now I did actually charge this on the stove. When I say charge, no, I don't mean to like plug it into the wall. Charge is just a term that we would use when we would heat something up or even cool something up. When I say we, I mean like the places I worked at, the restaurants I worked at, like say a catering gig. You take this Cambro, which is like this plastic container where you put the food in to keep it hot. We would charge it by putting some steamed water inside there and closing it for like say 10 minutes or so to charge it, just so it's not ice cold. Same thing with this pot right here. Charging it so it's not ice cold, so I'm not throwing my tortillas into an ice cold pot, if that makes any sense. I also wanted to share really quick a snack that my grandma would make me while she was cooking and I was still hungry and the food wasn't ready. She would do this with flour tortillas, mostly corn tortillas. So what she would do was fresh tortilla, butter like this, just rub it all over the tortilla. I know, we don't need to take it out of the wrapper. This is the way I'm telling you. Nice shiny tortilla. Salt. And already you guys know grandma's had that iodized salt in the salt shaker. Like everyone nowadays does kosher salt. Anyways, she would roll it up. You can't really do that with a flour tortilla, but you know, same thing. Just kind of roll it like that. Salt, butter, money. Kimchi spam breakfast taco. And yeah, that's spam and kimchi. Don't forget to spam the comments. Fuck.